This is PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. PopX is not affiliated with, nor endorsed by Lucasfilm, Walt Disney Pictures, Marvel Entertainment, DC Comics, or any other mentioned franchise or brand. The opinions expressed are of each individual, and solely do not reflect PopXcast. Sit back, relax, put on your Ninja Turtle onesie, and warm up your chimichangas. This is PopXcast. You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. All right, that is our brand new intro theme. That's pretty cool, right?
Oh man, that is amazing. Whoever made that
well, he's actually in the chat room right now. His name is Corey Manuel, and we're going to be talking to him a little later on in the show, and kind of like what inspired him to create a song for us. We were extremely flattered, first and foremost, which is really cool. But Corey, we thank you so much for that. That's for you, my friend. But hey, guys, welcome to PopX, where science fiction meets pop culture. I am your host, Mr. Joe Burke, and this down here.
I'm Austin Burke, your residential Appalachian geek at heart. We would like to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. If you missed last week's show, episode 14, where we reviewed a small movie called Captain America Civil War, be sure to head over now to Google Play or iTunes and click that subscribe button to catch up. Also, while you're there, please leave us a glowing and wonderful 5-star rating and review. We certainly appreciate that. Joe!
Between your words and Mike's graphics, I don't know what to do.
It flows so nicely, doesn't it?
There's symmetry amongst
Symmetry.
Well, you know what, guys? We had, before we go into this week's topic, which is social media and live video and how it's affecting pop culture today, we're going to be actually running through some pretty cool stuff going all the way back to the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. Networking, really cool, informative episode for you today. But right off the top, Supergirl, we got some shows. We got some news coming out from, some of it's sad, some of it's good, some of it's, man, really. So we're just going to dive into these. Austin, I'll take one, you take the next, and we'll rotate. But Supergirl moves to the CW for season 2. So she's no longer going to be on CBS. Or is it ABC? ABC.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm fine with that, though, because for a second, I thought they were going to cancel the show because they didn't really know what to do with it, man. And I got a little scared, but when they said, hey, we're moving it to the CW, that makes sense. You've got the different universes thing with her and the Flash and Arrow. I'm fine with that.
It actually makes a lot of sense because the same production company behind Arrow and the Flash is also behind Supergirl.
Which is fantastic.
You know, they did the Flash Supergirl crossover a few months back, so
which was great. It was great. It was a great episode.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But you know what stinks, Joe?
Say it again, please.
Marvel has canceled Agent Carter.
Can we have a moment of silence for Peggy? And we're done.
Oh man, that's sad, man. I really enjoyed that show. That was a good show.
So I have been seeing some stuff floating around on the internet about Agent Carter, Netflix. Okay. A lot of people are reaching out to Netflix. Netflix, can you save Agent Carter?
Please. That would be so appropriate.
Now, I know a lot of people in the Marvel Universe kind of didn't enjoy the 50s style of storytelling. Mm-hmm. But I, for one, I really enjoyed it.
Man,
it was a different pace.
It's refreshing.
It is. It is
And
because we get Flash and Arrow and we get Shield, and we're kind of like, okay. And then you get Agent Carter, who's kind of like, you know, it's more realistic. It's more, it draws you in, and the story's a little. It's really cool how you've got Jarvis, who is the butler for Stark. It was really cool to see all that dynamic. But we're hoping, fingers crossed. I have to say, Netflix, fix it. Come on. You can
Netflix
do it.
always fixes it, man. They always come to the rescue, so just got to hold out.
But on top of that, that wasn't the only cancellation coming out this week.
Oh.
Muppets got canned. Poor Beaker.
Poor
Beaker.
Man, you know, I never actually... Let's just have our own Muppet show, Joe. Why not?
Kermit the Frog here. Oh, wait, that's Kermit with an X-ray.
You know what else was canceled? Castle.
And I didn't get into that.
Man, I love Nathan Fillion. I love him to death. I watched occasional episodes here and there, but I mostly just watched it for him. But what I was hearing is something about the co-star. I can't remember her name, but she didn't want to come back. So they decided, hey, let's just do the show with Nathan Fillion. And then it all got complicated, and they just canceled the entire show.
I'm not good with confrontations.
I don't like it.
That was a Back to the Future reference for you. But in light of the canceled shows and the sad stuff, we're going to actually drop some really good nerd nuggets for you here in a minute. Captain Marvel has been confirmed by the Russo brothers to be an Avengers.
Oh, what glorious news, man! What a strong female character that deserves to be in the big screen.
She's right up there with Jessica Jones, even above and beyond.
Oh yeah.
So I can't wait to see, because she's one of the, and I don't want to say antagonists, but she's one of the driving forces behind the Infinity War and that whole era, and just this new era. We talked a couple episodes ago about the rise in females in pop culture.
Yeah.
How this whole female superhero phenom is taking over. Well, now you've got, you know, all these new books coming out with A-Force, which is an all dynamic female group. You've got Spider-Gwen, you got Gwenpool, you got all these cool, like, what is it, Spider-Girl, something like that. Anyway, but anyway, you get the point.
Dude, that's amazing, though. I mean, but here's my question for you, Joe. Who do you think they should cast?
Oh, man. I don't know. Right off the top of my head, man, that's something I would really have to sit back and do some research on.
I agree with that.
Because I'm starting to think in terms of like the Russo brothers, when they cast Tom Holland as Spider-Man, who's essentially a nobody.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And now he's going to be one of the most iconic web crawlers of our modern time.
Now he is Spider-Man.
He is Peter Parker.
Yeah, so that's awesome, man. You know what else is awesome?
What's that?
Wolverine.
What about Wolverine?
The movie is getting an R rating.
Oh, snap, baby.
And you know what that means? That means we get a little bit more violence. We get a little bit more dirty words. But I don't
want to tear it up, isn't it?
I don't think they're going to go R in the wake of. I mean, I think they're doing it because of the success from Deadpool, but I don't think it's going to be Deadpool style of R. I think it's R because of the violence. I mean, frankly, that's what Wolverine needs, and that's what he's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, we need to see bodies like cut into like trifectas, like with his claws.
This is his swan song, man.
And I hear like there's going to be an old man Logan. It's all rumor mills. You read this stuff on like Cinema Blend and Superhero Hype and stuff like that. But obviously we won't know until the trailer drops or something like that. But that's cool, man. And also something really neat that came out from the Sci-Fi Network this week, Krypton has been greenlit. This is the backstory of the planet Krypton leading up to its devastation.
Huh.
So I don't know how long they're going to go with this or what they're going to do, but they've been greenlit for a pilot. And if it sinks in, they're going to continue with the series. So hopefully,
that could be really cool. That could be awesome.
And I was reading on Cinema Blend, they're going to try to focus on Kal-El's father, grandfather. Grandfather. So it's going back 2 generations before Superman.
Cool. I like that. Yeah. I like that. I also like Fox.
What about Fox?
Kind of announcing, not officially, but talking about how the next X-Men movie, you're going to go from the 80s to the 90s. All I want, hear me out. I want the theme song from the X-Men animated TV show.
Oh, man.
Just imagine in a movie. How awesome would that be?
That would be just like in the intro, just put it in there as a dubstep form.
Oh, man.
The old school fans. And something else I want to see Wolverine in the famous cowl. I want to see him in the mask.
Dude, before he's gone, please.
Yeah, let's for crying out loud. Let's do him up and do him up right. That's all I'm going to say. Also, this week, Assassin's Creed, the trailer was dropped.
Yeah.
And we all may know the lead actor who plays Magneto in the brand new X-Men franchises. But it's pretty cool. Did you happen to see the new?
Dude, I loved the trailer. I loved some of the shots from the trailer, and I love the way that the movie's going to look. And I think there's a solid director behind the camera. But I didn't like the song choice in the trailer, and I think that's a lot of the negativity coming from like the Twitter sphere and all that stuff. People just didn't respond to the song. There's actually a version on YouTube where a fan went in and added the theme song from the game in place of the Kanye song. It was epic. It was epic.
Well, this will be interesting. It'd be cool to see Michael Fassbender in a different role.
Yeah.
So we've seen him as Magneto. We know he's got the chops to be able to play these kind of roles. So it's going to be really cool to see him kind of step up and maybe bring out that aspect of a genre, a video game genre, if you will, bringing it to life in the real world. So that'd be
this is the video game. This is the year that we could have a turnaround for video game movies with Warcraft and Assassin's Creed.
It's legit, dude. I'm telling you, 2016 is the time to be a nerd. I'm telling you.
Oh, dude, this is the year, man. We talked about Netflix earlier. Voltron, Legendary Defender.
Look at that graphic,
to Netflix, man. How epic is this?
Okay, well let's unpack this here. I got to say that because my buddy Cliff Bodenvisor's here, and he may be joining us a little bit later on in the show. Okay. Fingers crossed about the video segment of the social media. But Voltron was purchased by DreamWorks Animation, same people that did Shrek and all that stuff. And so now we are getting not just normal animation, 3D animation.
Oh man,
dude.
It's going to look great, man. Just that still on the screen right now, it looks amazing.
I may have to go out and get a Voltron Defender ring.
Oh, man. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Defender of the universe, baby. Also, this is kind of weird. This one comes from one of our faithful listeners, Tony, a.k.a. Lister's Mate. He says that Archie's Riverdale is coming to CW. Now, we all know Archie as the famous comics, Archie Comics. So it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out, and it's going to be animated from what I understand. So it's going to be pretty cool.
This could be interesting, man. It's another property that I think deserves. It's time. It's time to bring all of these properties to life, right? Yeah. And that's what people are doing.
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's going to be fun because Archie has been around. Gosh, Archie predates most of the golden age.
Oh, yeah.
Of comics. I mean, he goes back to pulp comics. And just a little nugget for you on episode 20, we'll be talking about part 2 of the history of comic books and Jewish influence. So that's coming up in just a few episodes. But
Joe, can you talk to me for a second?
Sure.
The PopX store has been updated.
Yes.
With branding. Can you talk about
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Oh, what? Oh,
come on now.
Beautiful. Okay.
It's okay. So that's the branding right there, baby. That's what we're talking about.
What a logo.
Yeah. So we are going to be, we went through a branding thing, and I was actually inspired. I was going through some old VHS covers, and I was looking at them, and some of them from the 80s. I'm one of those guys that keeps my old books and my old VHS cassettes and all that crap. Yeah. And I was looking through some of the box art, and I'm like, oh my god, it would be really cool to make a logo with that neon pink and just that Tronish looking feel. That what they called it, Hot Miami back in the day. So that's welcome to the new logo. And if you want to purchase some of that cool new swag, all proceeds go to help us pay for the podcast. We do have to pay for our server and our hosting and all that stuff and all the expenses. So if you guys want to help us out with that, check us out over at PopXcast.com. And looks like coming up also next week. Next week, actually. Wow, this is like crazy fast because we're just getting over Civil War. Now we got X-Men Apocalypse coming out next May 26th. Well, 26th for me, 27th for most of the.
I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited. I've been waiting.
Yeah.
Which I have been waiting for Civil War for a long time, but I've been waiting for this movie since the minute I left Days of Future Past. So this is very exciting. Yeah. We also have another movie coming out June 3rd, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows, will hit theaters on that day. Are you looking forward to that, Joe?
Well, here's the thing. The last movie was, I mean, it wasn't dark or engaging. It was entertaining. And I'll leave it at that, okay? I enjoyed it. There was an entertainment factor about it.
It's fine. It's fine.
And so, and Zach Hoffman over in the chat room reminds me that Steve Amell, who plays Arrow, Green Arrow, will be playing.
That's exciting. That is going to take me to the theater, man. I'm excited to see that.
So we'll be talking about that episode coming up. I think it's like episode 17 or something like that on PopXcast. But we've got quite a lineup of shows for you guys. 16 next week, we're going to be talking to Heroes Landing owner, Mr. Todd Merrick. The weekend after that, of course, going to be our X-Men Apocalypse show. Week after that, Ninja Turtles Part 2, Warcraft, episode 19, then episode 20. We are going to be having the history of pop culture, the Jewish Empire.
So much goodness.
So are you ready for our next news segment?
Let's do this.
Oh my God, it's a nerd nugget. Lindsay Badger.
Hey guys, how are you?
She is. What's up?
Nugget. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Matt Sanders right now over at Real Life Church. He said he was listening to this podcast last week, and he said when I played that, he said he was rolling in his.
It is pretty awesome. I love it.
He's not the only one, man.
Oh my God, it's a nerd nugget. That's for you, dude. Go
ahead,
Lindsay.
All right, guys. Well, this week's nerd nugget takes us back to 1971, since we're doing a little bit of a throwback to kick this show off, where the very first message was sent electronically between two terminals that just happened to be sitting in the same room because they were like gigantic. They weren't really as small and compact as our computers are today. And Joe.
Yes.
Do you know what message they sent between the two?
If I'm not mistaken, wait. Hello?
No, it was actually Cortio.
Oh, really?
Now,
that's my second guess.
This may sound like sort of a foreign language, but it's really not. It's simply just the top row of letters across your keyboard.
Oh.
QWERTYUIONP.
Cardio. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's fast forward a couple years into the future, 1978. We're going to launch forward another step in the technology of communication where they developed the bulletin board system, or BBS, throwing back the old school stuff. That first came online in 1978. And the BBS was the very first system that let users interact with each other through the internet.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is this like war games type? Would you like to play a game?
It's getting there on that level. I think that came a little bit later, but
it did like 1984, 85. It's still some technology. Those old school dial-up modems that were just like massive boxes on their own that about the size of a modern day printer. These modems,
yeah, they're huge.
And you put the phone receiver down on the comm to call into the computer terminal. And I was like, how in the world? It's just, technology just baffles my brain sometimes. But Lindsay Badger for the win on this week's. Oh my God, it's a nerd nugget. All right, you rock.
All right, guys, thanks.
All right, Lindsay Badger for the win. She keeps things clean on the sideline. We just want to give props to her because she makes sure that the room stays clean and everybody's enjoying and engaged. So huge props to Badges. So you ready to dive into this, Austin?
Dude, let's go. I'm ready. Let's start old school, dude. What do you got for me?
Well, when I think of where we've come from, and Lindsay was talking about the BBS systems and stuff like that, I think the next platform that was ever to come out on a network basis was IRC. Now, IRC was kind of a DOS terminal connection where you would actually connect into certain IP addresses or certain server terminals, and you would be able to engage with people in real time. So this is where the first network SMS messaging system began. So you were able for the first time send a message in real time to someone and get a response back a few seconds later.
And when was this?
Well, IRC came along around the mid 80s. So like 485, if I'm not mistaken. Now someone in the chat room may want to correct me on that, but I don't have a definitive date. But we do know that BBS was launched around 78, and that platform then advanced into BBS remained around for a long time. And in some ways, it's still out there in form. But IRC kind of became a way not only for people to talk in real time, but to share files in real time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So you can send like documents to your friends through virtual server FTPS file transfer protocol.
And this goes back as far as the 80s?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
I had no idea. I had no clue.
And so it was there. The 80s kind of started laying the footwork, and then we got the invention of, going into the Apple computer, which literally reformatted and shaped everything that we know about computers. And it was just a few years later that Apple went network wide and was able to connect through terminals, just like in the movie, War Games and all that. So, look at Red 5 Mom over the chat room. She said, that's how I could work from home in the 90s. Through our and network terminals. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, that's epic. That is epic, man. I didn't know that went that far back.
Dude. Now, so we're rolling through, and we've got IRC, and I've actually still have my username, Rotcav, on IRC registered. And it's been there for a long time. I haven't used it, but it's still hanging out there. It's crazy. But, yeah, Rotcav is on IRC, if you can believe it. Wow. And we're from moving up. We're going into the 80s, going into the early 90s. And this one's not in the notes, but I have to give it an honorable mention. What actually is in the notes? AOL.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Here we go, dude.
Connecting the world. And you remember that one, you've got mail.
You've got mail.
You've got mail. So it was so exciting to be able to come home from school or from your work day, get onto your computer and hear that thing saying, you got mail, getting on there, checking your email, seeing who's emailing you for the day. Today, it's no more than just like spam from Applebee's, Olive Garden, and Dick's Sporting Goods. I digress, Joey. But, it was kind of like a nod to the future because digital emailing became the forte for what we call the social media explosion.
Yeah, it was social media before there was social media.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, AOL combined IRC chatting technology, SMS, with digital email. So you were able to not only talk and use AOL Instant Messenger in real time, but you were also able to email. Now, I still have my rockcav at AOL.com.
Wow.
I recently went in and changed the password just to update. Because I go through every 2 years and keep my passwords fresh. Yeah. But at rockcav at AOL.com, if you're feeling witty, it's still there. You can email me. But hopefully if I log in, I may be able to get that. You've got mail.
You've got mail.
So Austin, let me throw some out for you. So we got AOL, and people are buying computers, the Apples, the IBM Think Machines, the Hewlett Packards, the Gateway 2000s, the Dells. Everybody's buying the home computer. What do you think was the first social media network that allowed people to create a profile, update it, use status messages, put up a picture, what do you think was? Now wait, no wait. Before you answer, we got some people over in the chat room that's taking a stab at this. Zach says MySpace.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have an idea? Now we're talking before Facebook. Okay.
Before Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say MySpace, right?
Okay.
Oh, okay, Zang. Okay, I got it there.
All right. Well, actually, the first social media networking site wasn't Friendster; it was GeoCities. So when you think of and here's the reason why: it allowed people to create a website. It was so cool because you can put little GIFs on it, or GIFs, or whatever you want to say. You can put on a little information about yourself. You can create pages. You can learn simple HTML code, which was fun back in the day, and it was so cool because I remember in 1996, I was a sophomore in high school, and I remember my teacher coming to me. He's like, "You guys need to check out GeoCities," and I'm like, "What the heck is a GeoCity?" And he's like, "Oh, well, this is a place where you can create your own web page." And I'm like, "What?
Dude,
someone can find me on the web?" Sure enough, it was rockcav.geocities.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Joe and Rockcav, man, you guys are just...
Yeah, we're just congealing a little bit.
We are one.
We are one with a... Anyway. But yeah, GeoCities, it was really cool. You log in. You have your own profile. You set up a web page. People can add your page, and follow your page.
Oh,
you see where the networking started.
Sounds a lot like social media.
GeoCities wasn't the only one. I want to give a couple honorable mentions. Right.
Okay.
Angel Fire was another big one that a lot of people were logging into that allowed you to do some really cool things, and also Tripod. A search engine back in the day was called Lycos. And they had a platform called Tripod that allowed you to log in and actually create your own social media web page as well. So some honorable mentions. We got GeoCities, Angel Fire, and Tripod, 96, 97 era. And that brings us up to modern day social media. Now, what do you think is the first major page networking social media beyond GeoCities?
Major?
Yeah.
I want to say MySpace again. No, I want to say Zanga.
Zanga?
Is it Zanga?
Friendster.
Friendster.
Have you heard of Friendster?
Never heard of Friendster.
One in the chat room heard of Friendster.
Not a day in my life.
Not a lot of people, but Friendster is now long defunct. It's obviously no longer around, but it allowed users to create profiles and custom-make their own pages. And in the first 3 months alone, Friendster was able to amass over 3 million users. This means 1 in 126 web users were Friendster members at that time.
Wow. That's amazing.
And that paved the way to what you say is, say it. MySpace.
Oh, yeah, MySpace.
So we all had the friend. His name was Tom. Oh, my gosh. So do you want to hear a really crazy fact about
Give me a fact.
You ready for this? Are you sure?
I'm not ready.
I met my wife through MySpace.
No, you did not, Joe. No, you did not. I had no idea. That's amazing.
A lot of people don't know that, but I sent her the original messages, and I was like, "I want to be in Orlando, and I'm doing this thing for the Blue Man Group. Do you want to go and have dinner?"
That is awesome, Joe. You're the man. Wow. You're the man. I didn't know that.
God love her heart. She said yes.
Lord help her. Help her, Jesus.
Fix it, Jesus. Oh, man. But, awesome. MySpace, it followed suit around that 2002, 2003 era. And it was really awesome. It launched, it was one of the quickest web page social media platforms ever launched. And it went online just 10 days after coding. And it became more popular than Friendster. And MySpace gave users more freedom and than Friendster when it became just customizing music videos and making your online environment, which meant like really customizing your web page to match you and your personality. Mm-hmm. So that basically became the first. And honestly, I have to say, it's been a long time, but MySpace, ever since MySpace has kind of drifted away from that, there's really not been that much customizing or whatever you want, today, with Facebook, there's not much. You can add a profile on the timeline. That's about it.
But you can't do. They had the color. They had the song playing over your profile. I mean, they were so inventive at the time.
Yeah, and you could even change, like, you remember your little thing below your profile where it says like add friend, block friend, and you actually change all that up and design your own little layout and make it fun. So yeah, MySpace is crazy. Did you have a MySpace, Austin?
You know what's funny? I had a MySpace, but I got a MySpace like 3 months before Facebook got super popular. So I never really got into MySpace because as I was getting into it, people were drifting away from it. And I was like, oh, let's transfer over here to Facebook. And that's what I did. So I didn't hit it in its prime like everybody else did.
Well, MySpace kind of allowed users not only to create a profile, but it allowed them to start this new thing, which is basically old methods, but blogging. And so blogging is not a new term by the time we get to MySpace, but MySpace kind of reinvented the wheel on which you can blog. They gave you the windows and will allow you to be able to format your text, insert an image, insert a hyperlink, which was huge back in the day because not everybody knew how to blog. And it kind of actually scaled it back, made it user-friendly, and people started blogging through MySpace.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and after that, I don't know if you've ever heard of Usenet, but it became one of the first most popular blogging websites. And later to the mid-90s, going all the way up, it became more of a personal journal or a diary about your everyday life. So everybody remember LiveJournal, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember LiveJournal, but we're going way back. We're going back to like 99, 2000, 2001. And so we're going back to that Usenet was a huge part of that. And it connected everybody in so many ways. And so, but blogging was independently invented by an individual. His name was Ian Ring. In 1997, he coined the term blog. And so he was an online journaling platform, and he used a website. His website was called eJournal, and it was written using ASP and ODBC access as a database layer on the back end. First time we ever have a database and a user-friendly web platform integrating, forming a website. So, am I losing you, Austin?
This is blowing my mind. See, this is all before my time. In 99, I was, 4? I was 4?
You were 4?
I wish I knew about all of this stuff because this is so interesting.
But, you've got me, the dinosaur, to help you.
Your perspective. Thanks, Grandpa.
Ian Ring, he did this. And so today we think of, when someone approaches me, say I'm a website developer. That's what I do for a living. And Ian Ring made the first ever platform where you log into a website. Yeah. Website connects to a database, keeps a post and a host of all your journals in one database.
Cool.
Today, that's called WordPress.
Wow.
Okay. So we have advanced so far beyond what Ian Ring probably imagined or anything. And 9 out of 10 people who are either have a web page or have their own setup more than likely have a WordPress website.
Absolutely. Which
is a database connecting to a user interface, storing your data. So,
wow.
So, what do you think?
Dude,
this commentary.
I mean, I think this is all very interesting, and I've never heard of a lot of these. I mean, I heard of Zanga, and I had a MySpace for 3 months. So, but before that, man, I mean, this is all prior to me getting engaged into the internet, because the folks, they never let me on. They didn't trust me.
I just wanted to add that back in the day when Ian Ring was doing the websites and stuff, that was like PHP 1.0, like PHP 2.0. It was so bare bones coding. It was just like, like open bracket, echo, and whatever you wanted. Today, so many commands and so many I
don't have the patience for that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Man. So I want to get your perspective, because you've got some notes as well, some nuggets that you're dropping in. So I want to hear how this thing comes from your side and your perspective.
Okay, well, this isn't in the notes, but you mentioned your experience, so I'm going to mention mine. Do you want to know how me and my current girlfriend met? Uh-oh. It was through Facebook, Joe. That's why when you said that, I was like, no way. We have a connection.
My God, dude.
Unknown connection.
You met through Facebook?
Yes, and the funny thing is, she actually sent the first message, not me, so I can't take credit for that, because she's probably going to listen to this, right? And she asked for my number. Yeah. It is the best nerd nugget. And she asked for my number, and I said yes. And from there was a spark, and now we've been dating for a month and a half, a year and a half.
Wow. Oh, but don't say a month and a half now. Don't get in trouble.
Month and a half. So yeah, let's do some fun facts about Facebook. Now we went from MySpace to Facebook. Facebook was the next big thing, and a lot of people were down on Facebook when it first came out, right? Mm-hmm. Because everyone was so accustomed to MySpace.
It was exclusive too to only college students.
Oh yeah, it was just a college student thing, and now we see people from tiny kids to my grandparents who have Facebook, which is crazy. But Facebook actually started at Harvard University in a dorm room, and the earliest incarnation of Facebook was called Face Smash, right? And it was launched on October 28th, 2003 by Mark Zuckerberg and a bunch of his classmates. And the early design of the website was kind of like, have you ever heard of Hot or Not? It's an app in the App Store where you pick a girl and you're like, is she hot or is she not?
Predating Tinder?
Yeah, a little bit. That's what Facebook was intended to be when it first launched, right?
Gotcha.
But from there, it struck a chord with college kids, and Zuckerberg's like, hey, we can do a lot more with this. Mm-hmm. So he took it from a Hot or Not to a worldwide phenomenon that it is today.
Mm. And he became one of the richest men in the world.
one of the big time money makers, man. And well, that's funny, Hot or Not. That's actually
have a small Mark Zuckerberg connection.
Do you really?
I do. The guy that helped me program Blue Man Group's webpage back in the day when I worked for Blue Man Group, and we're talking 2002 to 2006. His name was Joel Seligstein. Okay. You can actually find him on my Facebook under my friend's profile, but he was one of the lead coders for Facebook from 2003 to 2006. And he worked 2 office doors away from Zuckerberg. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he would send me
awesome.
He would send me snapshots and tweets and images all the time, of him hanging out and having lunch with Mark. I'm like, dude, that is so
weird. That is epic, especially today when Mark is the man that he is, right? And he's had a movie about him, The Social Network. That's impressive.
Yeah. It is impressive.
So the website eventually turned into thefacebook.com, which officially launched February 4th, 2004. Mm-hmm. And it was originally just open to Harvard students. And then the site expanded to some more Ivy League schools. And before you know it, it's spreading across the country.
Wow.
But the funny thing is, I think it's hilarious that he intended on this being for college students. And now that is straying away from the age, like my age group, correct? And now you've got a lot of, 30, nothing against that, 30, 40, 50, 60-year-olds on Facebook. And I know a lot of my friends are like, well, I don't use Facebook anymore because my mom's on there.
Yeah.
That's the word, dude.
Millennials, and that's kind of going into where we're going into next is the millennial age and millennials are doing. You're a millennial. You know that, right?
I am.
Yeah.
am.
So we'll dude, look at that old login page. Gorgeous.
Gosh.
Yeah. 2000. I wonder what kind of security backend he was running on that.
Probably not what he's running now, Joe.
Your security certificate, Mr. Zuckerberg. Anyway,
I'm going to say he's updated. But yeah, man, over the next decade, what started as a private website for college students eventually became the monster that it is today. And it's not just Facebook, man. They own things like WhatsApp. You ever heard of WhatsApp?
Yep.
And then you got Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram. They bought Instagram, which I find to be incredible because personally, Instagram, well, I don't want to get into that right now.
It's kind of like now become, I'll dive into it just a second. I don't want to go off your train of thought, but Instagram now is I've slowly graduated into more of the picture style social media than posting something mundane on Facebook.
I found a big change when Facebook bought the app. They did a lot of things. They made it more like Facebook.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. It was just so different that it turned some people off.
Yeah.
But I have a cool fact for you. Are you ready for this? We got some big numbers. Here we go.
Okay.
At the end of 2015, Facebook released some very crazy statistics.
Okay.
As of December 31st, 2015, there were 1.59 billion monthly users on the site.
That's billion with a B, ladies.
Billion.
1.59 billion.
That's a lot of people, Joe.
That is insane.
And that goes to show how crazy social media can be.
Yeah. That's insane, man. And, social media has just kind of graduated into so many other platforms now. We're going into Twitter. We're going into Instagram. We're going into Periscope. And, all these all these applications. And I want you to talk a little bit briefly about Wheel as well in a little bit. But I'm kind of seeing a shift. And that's where I want my buddy Cliff to come in. Cliff, if you're around, you want to hop in, you're more than welcome to. But I want to talk about how the shift in social media is happening today in pop culture. So we've gave you the bones, we've gave you the history, you know what you need to know, and here's where we're going to the future. The future is live video.
Oh yeah.
Now the term live streaming doesn't necessarily pertain to not here. He's not here. It says he's here in my room, but anyway. Anyway, I digress. All right. So video, being able to not only post a picture or Periscope or Snapchat in real time, but platforms like this one, Blab, which allows, and Blab's not the only one. We're not going to single out. There's TinyChat, there's Appear.in, you've got Blab.am, and then we're seeing this shift. I can't forget Google Hangouts, which has been around for a while. And so there's this shift going on between, all right, so we got the blog, the social media platform giant, to the streaming. This is Joe TV right here in the palm of your hand.
Live video.
Turn up and rip the knob off. So
it's amazing that we've came from blogging to
from IRC.
Yeah.
To blogging.
To the social media craze.
Working.
And now we've got live video. Live video in the palm of your hand.
Live video storytelling.
It's amazing.
So real quickly, can you give, I know we're getting close. We only got like 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
But can you throw some stuff out about Wheel right quick?
Okay. So basically we're going from Twitter to Instagram. We got Snapchat, which is a juggernaut right now. Vine, which is my roots where I came from. I garnered up to 140,000 followers on that. And from that, I've branched out to a new app called Wheel. Go to the App Store, type in Wheel Video, WHEEL. And basically, this is a brand new kind of storytelling, right? You've got somebody can make up to a 30-second video, and you've got the filters, you've got the stickers. But the cool thing about this app, Yeah, Joe's got it, and he's the man. Joe is rocking that app, by the way. And the cool thing about this app is you can join in to other people's videos.
Yeah.
So I say, what's your favorite color? I know that's basic, but what's your favorite color? Somebody jumps in and they say, well, my favorite color is blue. My favorite color is red. It's a community, and that's what we're trying to build up. And what the guy did, his name is Paul. He is the man. He is the CEO of the company. He branched out to a bunch of Vine stars, some YouTube stars, some actors and actresses. He pulled them in and said, hey, guys, we want to form a kind of like a council, right? We are the creators of the app. And so we see what we like, what we don't like. We form together, and we have built that app over the last couple of months to what it is right now. We're getting ready for a huge marketing push. We've got Coke. We've potentially got companies like Twitter and Snapchat we're waiting to see. But once we start marketing this app, we are so excited to see what can come from this, because I love, and that's the reason I joined, the content.
Developers for the application.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's such a great opportunity, man. I'm so blessed to be able to do what I do, but I love the concept of the app, and I wouldn't have joined if I didn't think that this could be potentially great.
Yes, it's called Wheel. If you're in the iOS App Store, just type in Wheel, Wheel, and you will find it. And of course, on the preview screens, you will see my beloved cousin down here on those little screenshots of the application. So it's kind of cool.
It's not officially launched yet. So if you can't find it from Wheel, type in Wheel Video. But once we get it going, it should be the first thing that pops up when you type in Wheel. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, all right, guys. So we broke it down for you now. Live video streaming has become kind of like the future, if you will, of internet-based education, entertainment, awareness, advocacy. Gosh, the sky's the limit. So you're thinking of blogging, but you're thinking in real time, on the second, on the millisecond, like we are. We're sharing information in real time. There's no delay in our voices, and we see each other in real time. We're able to communicate. You see my emotion. I see your emotion. We're connecting, and it's mind-blowing. It's really crazy. And so, Cliff, do you want to come in right quick and just kind of maybe share a little bit of information about some of the things that you have experienced here on Blab and other platforms?
Sure. My head's really large. For those of you listening on the podcast, I apologize for going up in such a large fashion. Hello, everybody. I've been doing some work in the background. The reason I'm delayed getting in, not only the timing is good, but I'm trying to get XSplit running and so forth. Back to the point. Thank you for having me on the show. Pleased to be here. Austin, nice to meet you. We haven't shared time yet, but this, I'm known as the mayor of Blab for a reason, a couple of reasons, probably usually good reasons. But beyond that, before that, I was kind of tagged as a Blab evangelist because, as Joe was alluding to, and you guys have been kind of talking about here for a little bit, is the idea that, live streaming now, live video, it gives us this opportunity to have digital eyeballs, digital furrowed brows, digital eyebrows. I mean, if you think of the amount of information we get from the eyes and the eyebrows is phenomenal in real conversation. So here we are for the first time on a platform that's like Joe said, real time. I can, and if I'm having trouble, you can see the eyebrows go down. So it really is quite an interesting new phase for us in the digital space. We would have to go somewhere and sit down and actually see someone speaking. And even in the perfect situation, you're in a circle. Or it's one to many in a classroom, which is ridiculous. But having this kind of conversation, you just can't have it. So we're really at a great time in space right now. Moving from, like you said, blogging, vlogging, and now we're into this conversational mode, which I get really jacked about. We've got Periscope, we've got Wheel now coming in, which sounds really kind of like a hybrid. Which I'm excited to hear more about that and see how that, people can pop into your conversation as opposed to have it one to many with hearts and love and some comments. Here we are at Blab right now, one of the first conversational platforms on the interwebs that we can, and we've got people all over the world connecting together. As long as you can understand sort of what's going on, you can actually take a seat in the side chat or be on camera and actually converse and add or extract from the conversation. And we learn. Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, it's engaging the mind and the willpower of anybody that connects to this platform, or anyone like.
And it's doing it together, and we learn more, and we can improve ourselves more in conversation and having that connection, which has been stripped away over the years, from nuclear family disappearing to splitting up of families because they got to go to work. All these things have happened over the last 50 years plus. They moved us off the farms and into these tall buildings where you don't even know your neighbor. All of that stuff is now reversing very quickly in this kind of a platform where I could literally be talking to my neighbor and I didn't even know it until they say, "Oh, I'm your neighbor." Like, what? I thought I recognized you. I don't live in a big complex or anything, but I know what my neighbors look like, at least within 5 houses. That's because we have snow here in Boston. We have to go out and see each other when it snows. Now, again, I can't detect their ears because they're always covered, right? So if somebody has real weird ears, I'm not going to be able to identify them later on.
Let me get your perspective. I mean, so we've been talking about the evolution of social media and how it impacts pop culture. Mm-hmm. This podcast is PopX. It's not just geared towards comic books and movies. It's pop culture. And social media is a huge tangent. When you talk about the media of pop culture and social media, they are dynamically linked. Where do you foresee, let's talk maybe 5 years from the future. What do you think? Is this becoming TV 2.0?
I think it's going to be TV 3.0 because, 2.0 is where you're kind of doing what we've been doing with Periscope and maybe you're talking to your smart TV a little bit and finding something on Pinterest that you might want to buy. That's 2.0 to me, where you're starting to have that interaction. 3.0 is when you're really interacting. You are part of the conversation. You're guiding the conversation live in real time. So that's why I jumped to the 3.0. The 2.0 is, okay, I can talk back and forth a little bit, or I can have an interaction with what's going on the screen. But I also see, to take it 5 years down the road, Joe, I foresee, almost implanted information, not quite into our brains directly or eliminating our eyes and so forth, because then we can do this and just think about things and not even have to talk anymore. I think that's a little ways away. But 5 years, I think we're going to have, the Google Glass thing, which came and went. We're going to see more of that. Things are going to become beyond. What's that?
VR, virtual reality,
augmented reality, and moving beyond the Apple Watch, which we'll be laughing about in 5 years, in terms of what it was. We appreciate what it's doing, and we have to take those steps. But I think we're going to see a big metamorphosis of wearables, internet of everything, not just of things, where you'll be chipped. I mean, you'll know where you are even if you're lost. You know what I mean? You could be walking around the woods and be able to find yourself by clicking, pushing on your temple, and then send out a beacon.
Creepy.
Hey, you guys are doing the PopX stuff. I had to join in. I got a show right after this. I'd love to stay longer, chat. You can have me on any time on the show. I love being here.
And I do want to give a plug that Cliff's show is Off the Cliff. It's coming up at 10 o'clock, and we'll be dumping our entire room over to he will be our post-show blab room. So right after this, in about 8 minutes, we're going to have our season debut of Off the Cliff.
There we go. Right? Yeah, well, it's going to be a pre-season pre-show. We're going to have the premiere show will be on the 29th, but tonight's going to be fun because it's going to be freewheeling, not like Wheel, the app, but freewheeling. And Austin, I'd love to have you in and joining us with that and kind of help us guide where we want to go, because there's a lot of areas we can go off the cliff, we can fly, we can drop. So we've really got a lot of things to discuss over the next week or so. Huh?
Oh, do you like that?
I'm working on it right now. You see how far I've gotten? There's my cliff notes. It's a blank slate. We're looking for you guys to do it. I'll drop a thing in the chat. Thanks so much. Have a good end of the show, and we'll see you in the next show right after this.
All right. We got time for one more caller if we could. Can we have Corey Manuel call in right quick? He is the creator of the PopX theme song. And we want to talk to him real quick before we have to sign off here. Can you believe an hour has come and gone that quick?
This might be the fastest show that we've had so far, man. It flew by. Mentally,
it was just like, well, wait, I looked at the clock and it's like 9.
It's so much information, Joe. We talked about so much.
It's overload, I'm telling you. So, Corey, I'm going to give you hosting powers, you can call in if you want. But I just wanted to give props out to the guy. He did a phenomenal job on this week.
I love the intro.
It sounded pretty cool, right?
Oh, it sounded sweet. It was so sweet.
I definitely think I'll go with it. It's pretty awesome.
Stick with it, dude. Stick with it. I like it. It's a cool change.
All right, so we're going to continue on. If Corey calls in, that's fine. But so you know what, guys, if you like what you've heard or you want to engage in the conversation and you're listening to this on iTunes, Google Play, or in the post era of the podcast, we do have a PopX hotline, and you heard us right, PopX. We do have a hotline, and that's basically where you, the fan, can call in and between our shows and throughout the week and just kind of drop us a nugget, drop us a note like, hey, I went and saw Captain America Civil War. Hey, I went and saw X-Men Apocalypse, or that whole social media bit that you just did. Here's my take on it. Leave us a voicemail, and we'll actually play your voicemail on next week's episode. So if you want to do that, that's open to you. That's 850-417-POPX. And the actual number, if you don't want to worry about PopX, is 850-417-7679.
Oh, my gosh. We have our own phone number, Joe.
Gosh,
amazing.
I do declare money penny.
Hey, guys, we've been talking about social media tonight. How about you go over to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even Pinterest and follow at PopXcast on social media. Support us, tweet at us. I don't care. We would love to talk to you guys and hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you can also email us at that is PopXcast. That is at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. So if you guys are wanting to throw us a little note throughout the week, or you want to write us up something, or you want to inspire us about something that we've done or inspire a future episode, or you got a project that's going on that you just got to get it out there, email us, popxcast@gmail.com. Also, for all things PopX, all things nerdy, check us out over on PopXcast.com. And we've also relaunched that brand new web store. But I was going to see if Corey wanted to call in, but that's okay. I guess I doesn't want to call in.
Corey, come in the house.
He's in the room, but I don't know.
Corey.
Well, you know what? While we're waiting on Corey, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Here we go. I'm Austin Burke, at the Burkinator, and you guys can follow me on Instagram, the Snapchats, the Twitters, catch me on Vine, and the Wheels. And before you do that, I want you guys to go over to iTunes and Google Play. Leave us a beautiful 5-star rating. Talk about us in a good way if you can. It really does help us with getting ranked among the other searches. Guys, we love you so much.
Yeah.
And every one of you are awesome.
Yes. And you know what, guys? Shameless self-plug for me. My name is Joe. That was really loud. My name is Joe Burke at Rockhav on the interwebs. And, of course, hats off to our amazing team here at PopX. We could not do it without these people that you see in the background. First up is Lindsay Badger over in the chat, LR Badger. Everybody type a 1 right now for Badger, for throwing it down in the chat room and doing what she does best. She is freaking amazing. And so we couldn't do it without her. And also the man right over here to the window, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. We want to thank him. What in the world?
It's the dance off in Guardians. Amazing. Amazing.
Really, Mike?
Oh, Mike's the man.
Awesome. Oh my God. Now I want to see Groot.
I'm done. I'm done.
That was great.
That was amazing.
So next week's episode is going to be really awesome. We are going to be talking to Todd Merrick, who is the owner and founder of Heroes Landing Comic Book Shop here in Central Florida. It is one of Central Florida's premier comic book shops, and yours truly artwork is proudly displayed in the shop. So if you go in and you see the Jokers and the Hulks and the Stan Lee, that is yours truly for sale. So be sure to check it out. He'll be on board talking about the upcoming trends in geek culture.
Ooh.
So he's going to be talking about what is he seeing? Where does he think the industry's going in the next 5 years? So get your questions ready. Mr. Merrick's going to come on. This guy is so connected. He's more connected than AT&T.
So, get connected.
And so, as always, PopX is like a wonderful tingling tea tree ointment. The more you rub it in, the more and the better it feels. All right, so join us for the PopX After Show Blab. This is Off the Cliff from all of us here at PopXcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, and we will see you on the other side. From everyone at PopXcast, thanks for listening. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating over on iTunes and subscribe for more great content. Drop us an email, popxcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blab, and YouTube at PopXcast. Get your geek on.